Hello and welcome to Experience of the Soul, a weekly space to help you grow, prosper, and learn how to truly support your soul. This week, spiritual teacher and author Cynthia Alice Anderson explores what it really means to make yes to life decisions, how the choices we make, both big and small, either support or quietly diminish our soul's journey. So, take a breath, listen with an open heart. And now, Cynthia Alice Anderson.
Hello and welcome to the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. My name is Cynthia Alice Anderson. I'm the host. I'm also the owner and founder. And my friends, I'm so happy to have you along the journey with us. We are honored to be bringing you the show so many years later, over 400 episodes, and happy to have you with us. And of course, my dear friend and producer, Mr. Sean Kilgore, is with us today. Hey, there's
friends.
my buddy
How's
in our Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, baby, we're ready. We're like, it's spring is coming. Let's bring on the warm weather, right?
I'm telling you, I never thought I'd be one of those Florida people to wear Hawaiian shirts, but here it is happening. I'm always like, black and navy and white. And now I'm busting out the, I don't know, bird of paradise shirt.
Yeah. And what I love is that we seem to always do this. All we said was Hawaiian shirt, and then we end up wearing almost the same one. Yeah, like same kind of pattern,
this one's colors. Vintage too. And the cloth on the vintage ones feel so amazing. I tell you, I love quality things, you know?
Yeah, very nice.
So
hello, friends.
Fun.
Yeah, totally. Well, welcome everybody to episode 405 of Experience of the Soul for Monday, March 23rd. We're so glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. There's a sense of this week that of sort of taking stock, of paying attention, maybe noticing what we are carrying and deciding what we actually want to continue carrying forward as we move forward. So let's go ahead and jump into this week in spiritual history. Midweek on Wednesday, many Christians observe the Solemnity of the Annunciation. So this is the moment that Mary receives the message that changes everything. So, of course, we know it's a very quiet story, but it holds a very powerful message of saying yes.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
This is a reminder that sometimes life shifts, not because we have it all figured out, but because we're willing to trust what is unfolding.
Oh, yes. Wow. What a beautiful idea. Trust what is unfolding.
Yes. Can be difficult at times, but that's why it's trust, right?
Oh boy. Yep. You got me going. I'm about to start a talk already.
All right. So this same Wednesday is also the UN's International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. So this is a day of collective reflection. It honors the lives, it names truth, and it remembers that healing often begins with honest witness. Healing often begins with honest witness. That statement right there, I thought, was like a very strong statement for this occurrence, but also for what we're dealing with in America right now.
You are absolutely right. And there are people that would like to go back to that time, it seems.
Yes.
And it's so interesting, Sean, because at the same time, there's a lot of healing around things like this as well. People that are aware about things that have never been aware before. And it's the only divine order I can find in anything happening is that people that haven't cared about these issues before because they didn't have to are now saying, this is crazy. Why are we doing this? And they're becoming more aware. And I even saw, I was going to mention this earlier, and I don't even know if you saw this, but that the Vatican just gave back artifacts to some of the native tribes of the U.S. That have been held for over 100 years.
Wow.
And they are being given back as some kind of reckoning and restitution, to try to repair some of the damage of the colonization and everything. And I almost cried when I saw that. I never thought I would see that in my lifetime. So yeah, these are important issues to be thinking about and, supporting awakening and enlightenment on. So so happy you brought that one today.
Yes. And as the weekend arrives, we find ourselves in Shabbat HaGodol, or what is known as the Great Shabbat. This is observed sundown Friday into Saturday, of course, the Shabbat just before Passover. So traditionally, it's a time of spiritual preparation, clearing out what no longer belongs and making room for freedom.
Mm, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. And our just for fun this week is World Theater Day on Friday. This is a little nudge. Yeah. This is a little nudge to celebrate storytelling, creativity, and the way a good story can truly open our hearts. And if you're not listening on Friday, that's okay. The show still goes on. And while those big Broadway shows and tours are fun to see, this is a great reminder to go out and support your local theaters, local performers in your area.
Yeah, yeah. Build a set, put up a
Yeah.
drape in the garage and let your kids have fun.
And with that, I thought it might be a good, if it's okay, I'd like to just mention that I have a
Yeah.
show coming up here. If you're local to
Yeah.
Orlando at the Winter Park Playhouse, which is now currently being housed at the Orlando Shakes. The show is April 1st. There's two shows. It's a 2:00 and a 7:00. So you can visit winterparkplayhouse.org if you would like to come see me live with my singing partner, Natalie. The show is called Stage to Screen. It's a tribute to songs from movies in the theater. So if you're in the area, come join us. We'd love to have you.
Well, you guys are quite a duo, Sean. So, I love to support when I can. And that's also a really great theater. It's another great local theater. It's been around for a real long time. So that's another great thing to support.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right, friends, something to think about. What are you ready to carry forward, and what might be ready to be set down in your life?
Boom.
Yep. As you think about that, we welcome you officially to episode 405 of Experience of the Soul. And today we are talking about supporting your soul.
Yes, yes. Well, I have something kind of exciting to share for me. It feels like a great support for my soul. And Sean, I didn't tell you about this before, but I made a recent purchase. And the purchase is something I've wanted for a really long time. I haven't told anybody about it. And so I want to just start the show with this.
Okay.
Because, so when I was a little kid, a great time for me was going fishing with my brother. And we'd go to this neighbor's house. His name was Mr. Moran. He had a little lake and the boat was always turned over. We'd go over, flip the boat over, and me and my brother would go out and fish. Something I really enjoyed. And then we came down to Florida all the time, and I'd always want to go fishing. Like when I was 7 or 8 years old, I would walk barefoot down the Main Street Bridge in Daytona, and I would fish off the drawbridge by myself. I loved to fish at that age. And then as I got older, my dad and my uncle, well, we called him my uncle. He wasn't really, but they were really close family friends. Yeah. He was my dad's sergeant in the war. That's so long time friend. So we were going to go crabbing, then we were going to go out. Anyway, my dad had a stroke. We were about to go, and we never went. And so it kind of dampened that desire. And I didn't know why, but anyway, it was a very sad time watching my dad deal with all of this. So kind of the idea of going on the water and everything, I just kind of gave it up. Even when I lived in Seattle, all around all those boats, I would go look at the boats, but I would never get on one. I would never go fishing. So then finally I did a big trip to Honduras, and I was able to go deep sea fishing. I had the time of my life, and I was the only one that caught a big fish and all this stuff. And it was great. It was great. But then I came back home and I didn't fish again. So then I get the job in Daytona, and I'm like, I am just going to work with the universe on this. And I'm just going to say what my dream is: to live on the water, to have a little boat. And I want to go out in the morning and catch my breakfast and come back home and cook it. Because I did that as I forgot this part, but when I was driving out to college, I stopped at my cousin's house, and they live in Palacios, Texas, which is right on the Gulf. And they did that. They had one of those big old house on stilts and everything because they were right on the Gulf. And that's what they did. He said, "Are you hungry?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "We're going to go out and catch a breakfast." And I thought, this is living. I love this. Like, I had never even heard of doing such a thing, And so anyway, this is where I got the idea to do that. And interestingly enough, it was that trip where my dad passed away. We had to fly home and deal with his passing. And man, it was awful. We were super, super close. So there was all this energy around me fishing and all these bad things, had happened near like these fishing events and everything. So I kind of gave it up. I did the trip in Honduras. Well, when I was coming over here, this is what I started to say. I was like, I really want to go fishing. Well, there's a guy here in the choir, and he was a professional fisherman. And I said, I love to fish. He said, oh, I'm going to take you. Anyway, long story short, we went fishing, and he had a little boat for sale, and I bought it.
No
and I
way.
bought it.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm at the same time super excited, but I'm also quite nervous. I'm kind of scared to take it out by myself, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because it's like even the kind of boat it is, which is very small, but the kind of boat it is exactly what I drew out in my journal. And so when I saw it, I almost started crying because it's simple. I mean, there's nothing special about it. Simple little boat. It even has, which was I drew in my picture, these antique oars. It's that exact. These antique wood oars, and also has a little trolling motor on the back, which was exactly what I wanted. He said, well, I've got a bigger engine. I said, I don't want a bigger engine. I want the trolling motor. So it was like somehow this. So
yeah, no, that is incredible. I love that. Are you going out into the ocean, or is it like an inlet, or?
Okay. So out here, there's a bunch of little places that are off the Halifax River, right? They're called the Intercoastal Waters, the ICW. And that was the other thing is this is a part of me. I have really not a loud voice in a really long time, but I love being in the water. I love studying the water. I love knowing, all the little spots and everything. And I was just looking up yesterday, where can I get charts of this? I mean, I know I can do it on my phone, but there are old, charted maps for the waters. And so there's a place within a mile of where a mile or less that I can put in. That's right there. And it'll take me into the Intercoastal and the Halifax River and all of that. I mean, I could, go out to the ocean, but it's not a big craft, Yeah. It's really best like on a river. And because I don't want to
time.
Yeah, I will. He's like, don't get it.
Please don't go by yourself the first couple times.
Oh, well, yeah.
Or at least the first time.
So, yeah. So, it sounds like a real little thing, in terms of, it's just a little tiny boat and I got a trailer and, I got to get a new little battery for it. And I got to get a few little things, got to get some cushions, for the seats and everything. But, the joy that it brings me, and how it was a manifestation of a desire I had for a really long time. And, part of my work now is it's like I've got my son off to college. I've, the bulk of my career, of my life, in fact, is supporting other people. And so I've had to, part of my spiritual work has been to learn to support myself the way I support others. And it's natural for me to support others. Like, Sean, if you said, I really want a boat, I'd be like, I see you having that and we're going to make it happen. I see it and let's manifest. And so for myself, I was like, I don't know who I'll go with and blah, blah, blah. Well, now, hey, I've learned if you have a boat, everybody wants to go.
It's true. I'll drive out there. I'll go out with you.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm so happy for you. That is really, really awesome. It's definitely it's beautiful, and it's an honor to witness how those things come together for you. It is really, and it's inspiring.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I mean, I always say, if I can do it, I know anybody can. Because I mean, it's like it's what today's about, right? It's like, how do I support my own soul? And I call these yes to life decisions,
Yes.
And I realized that in a way I was saying no to an important part of myself. And I think it was based on fear. I really think it was, and it was totally unconscious. And my friends, that's what I want to talk about today is, are you supporting your soul? And is there some way which unconsciously maybe you are choosing no to life instead of yes to life? So as I learned, the good news is I have a show and I can bring you along with me. And I want to know, how my teachings are supporting you, and how things are moving forward for you. And I want to help you start to discern, like, am I doing that to myself? Am I saying no to life when I really want to say yes? And no to life simply means, am I not supporting my soul? Am I not acting in my soul's best interest? One of my mentors, Reverend Sharon Poindexter, used to use those terms. Is this a yes to life decision or a no to life decision? And I love those questions because of how simple they are. Is this a yes to life decision or is this a no to life decision? Am I supporting myself through this? Am I getting the right help and guidance? So often, I think so many of us feel that if we don't kind of trudge along and take care of it, nobody else will. And I've really learned, my friends, to ask for support when I need it. And I'm still learning that one. I'm still learning. When I have the awareness, I move forward to do it, but I'm still learning. I'm still learning. So we've said in the past, and I want to back up a little bit, that you are spirit, soul, and body. And a lot of times in today's advertising for spiritual things, it'll say mind, body, spirit, right? Well, mind is really an aspect of the body. So the way we talk about it spiritually usually is spirit, soul, and body. And the spirit of you is the unchanging aspect. The soul of you is your individual soul journey, meaning your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your ideas, what you've been through, the consciousness with which you have attained for yourself through your work, through your life experience. If you grew up on the coast of, for instance, if you grew up in Palacios, Texas, you're going to have a very different soul experience than if you grew up in Red Oak, Georgia. That's just a fact of a geographical difference. So it creates different life circumstances. It creates different opportunities. There is a different political climate. There are different ways of relating culturally in different places. And so that is all part of the individual soul. And it's also a part of how the personality is created. And so spirit, soul, body, when we say this, spirit is unchanging. The soul is your individual spiritual journey. And then the body is what houses, of course, the mind and the soul. Even though we know, even science is affirming for us that the soul is even larger than the body itself. But the body is reflective. The body is the housing. The body is the vehicle for the soul this time around. And I want to point out that if you've done any study at all about what happens to the body, like when the soul passes on, the body actually weighs less. So the soul of you literally has a weight to it. It is actually a presence, but it's not like there's three, sections to you. It's like three parts of the same whole. So you are spirit, you are soul, you are body. And so when I'm talking about today supporting your soul, what I'm really meaning is we want to operate in the best interest, with the best interest of our soul and mind. And that means making decisions that support our soul and its growth. And I was just talking with a couple of people about this, and we did a show on this a while ago, and it keeps coming around about what are you putting into your consciousness on a daily basis? What images, what shows, what music, what language, what attitudes are you putting in? These are basics for thinking about, am I working in the best interest of my soul? Are my friends, are the people I spend my time with, are they interested in soul growth? Or are they wanting to go out and party on the weekends and get hammered? You know, what is the energy that I want to be around? What is the best yes to life energy that would support my soul? Well, we could say very clearly that going out and getting hammered or getting high or all those things people do, that is an obvious no to life behavior. So some of the other choices though that we make are more subtle. So I just use those as an example to think about, okay, yes, am I doing those things? Okay, no, I've grown out of that. I've had people tell me recently, you know what? I've had to really decide because so much is going on in the world. I'm working so hard on my spiritual growth. I don't want to surround myself with people who are not on a similar path because it brings me down. So I've had direct feedback about this lately. So the other piece to remember as you're doing this soul work is that God is always working on your behalf. You know, God is always working on your behalf. And sometimes that is a phrase I use. God is working on my behalf as I make these right, good decisions for my soul. God is working on my behalf. So even if I don't understand why I have to make this choice now, even if I don't understand why this is coming to me now to deal with, God, I know you're working on my behalf. So I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to do my very best to make a yes to life decision and support my soul. Yeah. I'm very fortunate. That I have a friend who painted me a picture, and it's kind of this beautiful little colors in the background, and that says real big, this big S, soul, right in the middle of it. And I'm looking at it right now as I'm recording the show, and every single day as I sit at my desk, I look at that, and that's like, okay, I need to be reminded, live from soul. Don't live from the mind and all these likes and dislikes. The mystics call that living in the land of the opposites. The soul is the aspect of us that is attached to eternity and also the here and now world. And so when we make yes to life or soul life-giving decisions for our soul, all of life will get better for us. And my speaking about my little boat, I mean, even to call it a boat, it's a small little watercraft, but the joy that it brings me and the energy I get simply thinking about it, the sense of peace I get out on the water, being quiet, it is a beautiful, beautiful energy. Even though I haven't taken that boat out yet, I've gone out with my friend and we can sit in total silence or we talk nonstop. And either way, it is support for my soul to be on the water. So I want you to give some thought to, am I making yes to life decisions? Am I supporting my soul on a daily basis? Or am I going to church once a week and then doing whatever I want the other 6 days? But think about, am I making yes to life decisions? In other words, am I supporting my soul through my actions and my choices? When you think about the music that you listen to, it's been hard for me because I love such a variety of music, and some music that I enjoy the beat and the rhythm and even a lot of the words to has such profanity that I tend to limit my exposure to those things because I don't want those things in my consciousness. Those words have very specific vibrational realities, and I don't want to be thinking profanity every other word. I don't want everything in my mind to be something over sexualized, And so I've chosen to find other life giving, other soul supporting music that has similar beat but has a positive message. So I just want you to think about, what are the things you're doing, and are they yes to life or are they no to life? I'm just trying to raise this up for us. I can tell you that scrolling, as everybody calls it, doom scrolling. I wonder why it's called doom scrolling, because it just unconsciously floods your mind with negative images. And it's so easy to want to other people, they do that, pretty soon we're in a mindset and a consciousness that is anything but loving, that is anything but sacred. So I want you to really give some thought to this. Am I consciously aware of the choices I'm making? And am I affirming that God is working on my behalf? Am I kind of moving into this awareness that God is working on my behalf? So if something's coming into my life and world, I want to be conscious about, is this supporting my soul journey? Is this not supporting my soul journey? And of course, we talk all the time about things you can do, but I want to talk about a couple in detail again to just refresh where you might be on your journey, because a daily prayer practice of some kind will be super important and very profound in its impact in your life. I have a friend that kind of has a love affair with the Lord's Prayer, and she's studied it, she's recited it, she's learned the Aramaic. She's gone really, really deep. What was its intention? What was happening historically and culturally at the time? And that Lord's Prayer has been a real anchor for her. I have another friend, a gentleman who is very incredible in the business world and the financial world. He's got a really big, important job in the third dimension world. And his anchor is the Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer. Beautiful prayer to focus and center the mind. A beautiful prayer to say, what is mine to do? What is not mine to do? Give me the wisdom to know the difference, in that Serenity Prayer. And if you don't know these prayers, look them up. We can put some in the show notes. The Lord's Prayer, the Serenity Prayer. And there's another one we've talked about on the show too, the Grace Prayer. The Grace Prayer. Help me heal what needs to be healed, reveal what needs to be revealed, so that I may glorify God in this. I think it's reveal what needs to be revealed, heal what needs to be healed. Yes, so that I may glorify God. The prayer of St. Francis, another great prayer. So I want you, friends, to pick something that will support your soul all day, every day. And I was just talking with one of my siblings the other day who was having a health challenge, and we were talking about how, walking through health challenges can be really tough because, you have to go to a doctor to see, what can I do medically for this? Is there medication? Is there therapy? Is there an alternative treatment? Are there herbal remedies I can use? What can I do? Is there exercise? Is there a diet? And anyway, as we got to the end of it, one of the things I said to her, I said, well, you know what, sis? I said, when I was going through a tough time, the affirmation that got me through was using the letters of the word Christ, Christ. And I got to this, and I'm going to tell it to you in a minute, but I got to this because we were talking about she's doing everything she can, and we were saying, all you can do is trust. All you can do is trust. And I said, that's it. We do everything we can, and then we leave the rest to God because we can't control every outcome. And I told her the affirmation I use with the letters Christ, and here it is. Christ heals and reveals. That's the CHR. Christ heals and reveals. I am silently trusting. That's Christ. Christ heals and reveals. I am silently trusting. And so if I get stuck on an issue or I'm not sure what to do, and I feel like I've done everything I can, what can I do? I can trust God. And Sean mentioned trust at the very beginning. I thought it was so interesting. I had a real good friend. Her name was Penny Honey, and she and I used to talk a lot about trust, and we came up with trust means to rely upon spirit totally. I said, I love that, to rely upon spirit totally. That's trust. So, my friends, I hope you will take one of these prayers and use it. I hope you will take time to keep your connection with spirit strong and move into a time of awareness and peace on a daily basis so that you can support your soul's journey. There is a lot of anger, evil, and negativity in the world. My hope for you is that you can move up and out of this and maintain peace, maintain this sense of connection and purpose on your soul journey. So, whether it's the Lord's Prayer, whether it is the prayer of St. Francis, whether it is, what is another one I mentioned, Sean? I'm trying to remember the other one.
The Grace Prayer, the Serenity Prayer, Prayer of St. Francis, Prayer for Protection, and the Lord's Prayer.
Oh, yeah, the Prayer for Protection as well. My friends, use one of these to help support your journey. And remember, an affirmation you can use if you're not sure about what's next or what to do on the soul journey. Affirm for yourself, God is working on my behalf. God is working on my behalf. So I am going to do the best I can to make the best choice to honor my soul in its journey. Sometimes it will be releasing. Sometimes it will be taking on new growth activities. Sometimes it will be reciting a prayer. Sometimes it will be taking a class. But my hope for you, my friends, is to make yes to life decisions that you will support your soul's journey every single day, knowing that God loves you, knowing that God works on your behalf, and you are certainly supported in prayer by us. So, my friends, thank you for joining us on the journey today. We are honored and blessed to have you with us. And, you know, it means a great deal when you give and support our show. It helps keep it on the air, and it really does honor our work and the time and attention that we give to the show. So, my friends, we love you, we bless you, and we are grateful for all you do. So we look forward to seeing you next week, and blessings on the journey.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Experience of the Soul with Cynthia Alice Anderson. If this message resonated with you, we invite you to share it with someone who might need it today. This show is made possible by listeners like you, and we're grateful for the community that helps keep these conversations available to all. You can learn more or contribute to the show at cynthiaaliceanderson.com/donate. Produced by Kilgore Creative and a production of the Soulworks Group Incorporated. Until next time, take good care. You're listening to the Experience of the Soul podcast channel, bringing you inspiration, teachings, and practices to support your spiritual journey.